feel good today, ladies and gentlemen. And for everybody new just trying out our little brand here, this is your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. We call it Driving the Line. You can call it DTL. We are live every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, we are just 48 hours away from the launch of NFL football. We like to call it our bread and butter. And every single day moving forward, there will be some type of football talk right here at DTL. But as always, before we look forward, we must look back and see how we did on Monday. Raphael nails the horses. Charles, one check mark at a time. The Royals, you can't give me a 2-0 day? That's okay. I'm back at it today. We're going to cash with the coach. AB, he will not be on the show today, but I can promise you he is stewing over that ridiculous performance last night that we will talk about very, very shortly. Now, many of you all over the world literally have made our other new show such a hit. DTL, the podcast, drops every single day around 2 p.m. Eastern Time with the best crew in the business. All kinds of topics as we dig deeper. We don't just give out picks at all. We make you a smarter sports fan and a smarter sports bettor. Now, today, we're running the three-man weave, and I need all of you to hit that like button on your way in because it's literally time now. I love my guys for the picks. Oh, look who we have today, the Howie Schwab crew play of the day. And as long as I am breathing and hosting the show, this will be a part of the show every single day as Howie looks down upon us as we look to get into all of the sports at the same time. Today, we're going a little baseball. Red Sox and the Mets, both teams are in the wild card chase. Do you want to go over 8? Do you want to go under 8? How about the Yankees and the Rangers down there in Arlington? I think it's the best sports complex in America. Some would argue that. Over 9? Or are we going to go under 9? I need you to vote. Also, you can vote for the home runs at our Twitter page or the X, and we will reveal our crew play of the day. And I also have aspirations of having this as part of a sports book situation very, very soon. So we've got ideas. But in the meantime, look who I got today. I said we run the three-man weave, but not just any three-man weave. And yesterday, our man was perfect, 1-0. So, Charles, you, sir, get our first 15 seconds. Good morning.
Morning, Coach, crew. Yeah, Dodgers and D-backs do what they do, come through with us. They left it a little late, but they still come through. I was surprised we didn't see a home run out of Ohtani in that game as well. So a little shocked with that, but happy to get a 1-0. Congratulations to Raphael on his 1-0 day also. So excited to get this day going.
Wow, very well said there in your 15 seconds. Shohei did have 3 stolen bases last night. That dude can literally do it all. Now, this man is 3 days away. He has forced me. He took my arm and just wrapped it around my back and said, Coach, I'm not doing it if I'm not doing fantasy on DT. I said, okay, you can do it on the podcast and on the show on Football Fridays. He has the best beard in the game. Soupy, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, it is my last appearance before DTL Prime Time Live, the inaugural episode. Chiefs, Ravens. I know you're excited about that one, Coach.
Oh, my God. It will be very, very hard to contain my excitement. I love the new name. I love the new start time. I love it all. Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Ravens and Chiefs, a full 1 hour as we break it down all the way, top to bottom, left to right. And we also have a new little touchdown game for you as well that we're going to try out. Now, gentlemen, before we get to the picks today, last night, because we have an incredible thread between all the crew members. And, Soupy, I'm going to start with you. But there was a lot of talk on the Twitter that going to Ireland was just a little bit too much for college kids to handle. And that Florida State, still ranked number 10, by the way, would come home and they would be all good on a Friday night against Bill O'Brien and the Boston College Eagles. They laid a big one last night. And now all the birds are chirping. 0-2 in the ACC. first year of the college playoff. What did you make of that performance?
Well, if I wasn't a DirecTV subscriber, I would probably just.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bitter right now. But I had a feeling that this was going to happen. You replaced Jordan Howard, the greatest quarterback in that program history. They had to replace Trey Benson, Keon Coleman. I felt like this was going to be a slow start. I really thought they were going to rebound against Boston College. I wasn't sure about Bill O'Brien there yet. He had a great game. With the 12-man playoff, they still have a chance, but they just have to win out starting now if they want that opportunity to maybe win the ACC or at least get in as a wild card.
I tell you what, James says 0-2 in conference play before week 2. And they're the only team, I think, in the history of college football to start 0-2 and have a loss on 2 different continents. I think that's a thing. By the way, speaking of the crew, we are everywhere. DG is in the chat. You have any questions for him, put them into the chat. We will answer them for you in real time. If you have any questions for us, put them into the chat. We'll get to as many as we could possibly fit in around our content. Charles, I know you are from SEC country. That's not that far away from Florida State. And now as the screws start to tighten, because if a team doesn't make it into the playoffs, we're talking about tens of millions of dollars left on the table. So Mike Norvell, I made a joke on Twitter last night that the vultures were circling, that there was going to be an emergency meeting this morning with all the wealthy donors to provide the buyout. Maybe that wasn't a joke. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that was ugly last night. He might need to bust out the cornrows again. It might help in with the team as well. So that was ugly. I was surprised they could only get to 13 points. Hindsight says go ahead and take Boston College, but I thought it may have been a trap as well. And then Florida State comes out. So I'm kicking myself. I didn't grab BC with the plus 16.5. But for them to only score 13 points, plus in the first half, they were at the 6-yard line twice. The first half total was 26.5, 27, and they couldn't match that to get the 28 and then just the 13 points. So we couldn't get over the 50-51. It was frustrating. And yeah, I think they I don't have much hope for them as well. If they can't defeat those 2 teams in week, they still have Miami coming up on the schedule, Clemson as well. So I think it's going to be a long season.
You mark my words right now, guys. Miami will be a top 10 team within the next 3 weeks. They were that good, and they've got a dynamic quarterback. Didn't you play Cam Ward his passing yard, Soupy, last week?
I did, and he crushed it. He's good. I watched a lot of him in Washington State. He's very good.
I give him the road. He crushed it. Oh, Soupy is just keeping it nice and tight today. By the way, shout out to the crew, because the crew knew yesterday, guys, that Boston College plus the 16 was the play. So they get a check mark yesterday. I love when we play it together. I love when we all hit. By the way, shout out to Austin. I tell you guys all the time, if you get, and I didn't load up the picture, but if you get a piece of merchandise from our DTL store, post it. Austin, he got a sweatshirt. He posted it. Shout out to you. It looks freaking great. All right, gentlemen, we got to get to our picks today. And it's not a big board today, but it's an important board today. And Charles, I know we always like to split, as you are the producer of the show, and I always oblige. So whichever one you would like to go first, you're up, sir.
The Nationals, they arrived to South Beach with Patty Corman on the mound with a 6.52 ERA on the road, while the Marlins, they counter with Mad Max Meyer, who owns a 5.44 ERA. These 2 teams, they've been playing to the under, but when they get together, we tend to see runs. So I'm going to back the over. Well, actually, the over is cashed in 7 of the last 10 meetings. So I'm going to back the over 8.5 between the Nationals and Marlins.
I actually looked at that game myself, because the Marlins, even though they're way out of it, they have really been a spunky team the last couple of weeks, and they're playing really, really hard. So I love this play. A little gimmick infringement, though, on Patrick Corbin Day. Huh, Soupy? He took your role there.
So I have lost 2 of the last 3 Patrick Corbin days. I'm
You're done with it? You're done with
we'll
it?
see, because, again, I've mentioned this. This is the last year of his contract with the Nationals. So I might have to play Patrick Corbin Day on his last start. I I might.
Mark says in the chat, it is Patrick Corbin Day and Soupy doesn't have a play.
Nope.
What is going on in this world?
Nope.
Mark, I get it. All right, so we'll get back to Charles in a second. But let me come over to you, Soupy. And what the hell? Let's split all of them up today because I also love your play because I put in the exact same one just a few minutes before the show. I didn't have a chance because we never look at it. So back me up. Why do you like the Phillies and the Blue Jays over 8.5?
Well, I love the synergy because Tyler Phillips 4-1. Phillies are 5-1 with him on the mound. 5.50 ERA, and that's because they are averaging 7.9 runs of support for Phillips. They're going against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, they can put up runs. They put up 15, I think, a couple days ago. And Chris Bassett is pitching for Toronto, a 6.28 ERA in his last 4 games. Philly, I think we should see a high-scoring game.
Anytime Seabass is on the show but really isn't on the show, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. All right, we'll get back to Chris Sale in a second. So I like Phillies Blue Jays over also. I also am going to go back to the well because the Twins, they cashed for me on Monday. Now, I really feel, guys, like the Twins who are smack dab in the middle of the wild card race. And the Rays have been floundering as we head. I don't normally like to play 2 games in a row on the road, but I'm all about motivation. And I believe the last month of September, we really need to feed into that emotion that Minnesota will bring to the table and that the Rays will not bring to the table. So let's play the Twins on the money line at even money plus 100. Charles, coming back over to you, Arlington. And this is one of the crew selections today as well. Why do you like the over?
We go to the Metroplex for game 2, where the Yankees put up 8 runs last night, and their games that went over the total in 4 of 5. Also, when the Rangers faced AL East teams, the total has cashed to the over in 11 of 13 meetings. Plus, with Rodon and Heaney as the starting pitchers, I'll take the over 9 between the Yankees and Rangers.
All right, very, very good. By the way, somebody in the chat says, I miss Howie every damn day, right? It's going to be an F day. It's going to be an F day. By the way, interesting play here. And I will come back over to you, Charles, on this. Mark says, I am playing the Patrick Corbin over 15.5 pitches thrown in the bottom of the first inning. The Marlins are a difficult first inning team in the last 30 days. Do you agree?
100%. Absolutely. I think they're going to make him pitch as well, see plenty of pitches as well. So I love that play, actually.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised to see a run in the first inning also.
Oh, the Nerfies.
Nerfy in play.
Nerfies.
Better Days is a Nerfy expert. If you got to follow him on Twitter for all your Nerfy stuff because he knows his stuff. I will back that up.
Oh my God, it drives me insane when we call it a Nerfy. Oh my God. Oh, and you guys, if you follow any betting people on Twitter, you know why it drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that. Oh my God, I hate that word. But it's true. By the way, if you're looking for more content, speaking of Mark and his team, a big announcement yesterday on the Twitter. I can't list everything, but I know there's guys on the crew that are a part of that project. So Mark, if you want to put it into the chat, I will read it. I know you're expanding your website, which is very, very cool, and it's got great information. So put it into there, and we'll promote it here on the show. All right, Subi, let me come back over to you. Because Chris Sale, I was watching the Braves game the other night, and they were interviewing him on Sunday Night Baseball, and they kept asking him to put himself over and over and over, and he refused to do it. He wouldn't do it. He is probably going to win the Cy Young. But why do you think tonight he will not go past 6 innings?
I think it has a lot to do with the competition he's playing tonight. The Rockies are not a very good hitting team, specifically on the road. And I've looked at his last few starts where the Braves have had a large lead. They faced the Twins. They scored 4 runs in the 7th inning, and he didn't come out for the 7th inning. They were up 9-2 after the 6th inning in his last start. He didn't pitch after that. I think the Braves should be able to have a large lead against the Rockies, and I don't think he's going to pitch more than 6 innings because it is September. There's only a few starts left. Maybe save his innings for the playoffs. That's the most important part, especially for Chris Sale, who's been injured the last few years.
Yeah, speaking of the postseason, right now Atlanta Very precarious, though, if I can push back just a little bit, Soupy, because they only have a half-game lead over the Mets, and they're 7 back in the division. So they've got to win every single game. So that might go against that philosophy a little bit, but I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with it.
I think it just largely depends. I think it's going to be largely because they'll have a large lead against the Rockies tonight, and they'll let the bullpen handle the last 3 innings.
Oh, that's a very good point. Plus, the game is in Atlanta, so they don't have the Rockies where you don't know what's going to happen in that Rocky. Excuse me, my goodness, that Rocky Mountain air. Real quick, thank you to GG, justthestatsports.com. For all of you, not even degenerates out there, you just want to become a better sports bettor, that's an incredible website. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of room out there for really good websites in the sports betting community. If you know, you know. Now, coming back to my third and final play today, if you're going to cash with the coach, you're going to do it with the New York Mets. Now, I just mentioned they are a half game out of the wild card position. As I look at my notes, wow, it is another 3 games down to the Chicago Cubs. All you fans out there, Raphael, get better today. A little bit sick, a little bit under the weather, but the Mets have got to win. The Mets have got to play well at home. And today, they are home against the Boston Red Sox. Now, I know the Red Sox are a really good road team. They're actually a better road team than they are at home, especially lately. But I think the Mets, with Peterson on the mound, he's pitched really good the last 2 outings. I think they get it done -135 on the money line. All right, gentlemen, as we know, we are – thank you, Action Jackson. I believe so, too. We are 3 days away. We have 3 divisions left in our 24 days to the NFL countdown. And today, wow, we're talking about a division that potentially could have 3 playoff teams, and the 4th has a Super Bowl winning quarterback. A lot to unpack. So let's get to it. Producer man. It is the AFC North time, and in the AFC North, you have the Bengals, you have the Browns, you have the Ravens, and you have the new-look Pittsburgh Steelers. What we're doing, if you're new to our little program, we are picking the winner of the division, and then what do my guys think is the most important player in that division for 2024? Charles, I'm going to let you start. In this incredibly competitive division, who gets the dub this year?
Ravens win the AFC North. I'm all in on Baltimore this season. I always like to back a team with extra motivation from last season, a capable quarterback and a stacked roster, and a Super Bowl winning coach. I know the Bengals will be a roadblock, but I think once the dust settles, the Ravens will win the AFC North.
Even though they will start 0-1 this year in Arrowhead on Thursday night. Now, I know that you are not picking the Jets to win the AFC East when we're talking about the AFC North. But what Soupy team are you picking?
I'm picking the Ravens just because I think they're the most complete team in this division. It's either going to be between them or the Bengals, but I mentioned in the preview with the Bengals, I don't like their offensive line and I don't like their defense. The Ravens have a good defensive front, and that offensive line, that offense in total is just better. Lamar Jackson took a big leap last year when it came to his passing numbers. Career high in passing yards, career high in touchdown percentage. I think that's going to help them win this division with the other teams that just have so many flaws. We don't know about Deshaun Watson, how he's going to be. And the Steelers with Russell Wilson, I think they're going to struggle a little bit this year. So I've got the Ravens winning this division again.
I think the Ravens are a really good pick. I think they're a really smart pick. I think the Bengals, to me, it's all going to hinge on how motivated and if this man even shows up. And I'm talking about Jamar Chase. The man's got 2 years left on his deal if you include the option. And the Bengals are a completely different team without Jamar Chase and also without Joe Burrow. If the Bengals can get everybody back in camp in the next couple of days and ready for this weekend, but even though their head coach said, I believe in the shape that Jamar Chase is in, he hasn't been out on the practice field. He hasn't been in really feeling that, the elbows and the hits and the contact. He hasn't been doing any of that. Running sprints on the practice field does not equal getting on the football field. So I think the Ravens better hope that Jamar Chase doesn't come back and they better hope that Deshaun Watson doesn't revert back to being the guy he was in Houston. Now, speaking of players, Charles, you are on brand, big boy. You are on brand. Talk to me about why Lamar is the most important player in this division in your mind.
It's time that Lamar finally takes that final step and wins the Super Bowl. He's won all the personal achievements as well. And I think if the Ravens are going to win the AFC North, it's going to be Lamar's going to have to take them there as well. Plus, same prop as yesterday to look at. Lamar Jackson to be the league MVP and to win a Super Bowl. He's going off at plus 5,000 for that combo play.
I love the play because here's why that is so smart. If you believe a team is going to win the Super Bowl, it's what? It's like 90% that the quarterback of the winning team is always the Super Bowl MVP. So if you think the Ravens win at plus 5,000, I would go check out the number for the Ravens just to win the Super Bowl. And this would be a pretty good number to add to that because Lamar Jackson is going to be the reason that they win the Super Bowl if they do. Smart, Charles. Very, very smart. Now, this man's been fighting injuries for the last couple of years. If he can stay on the field, it could be a really good year for the Bengals. Soupy, you like Joe Burrow. Why?
That's the main reason, as you just mentioned, the injuries. When he gets hurt, he had the wrist injury last year. After that, the Bengals just did not look the same. A few years before, he tore his ACL. The Bengals did not look the same. Joe Burrow is the most important player because they just absolutely, that talent just plummets when he's not on the field. If he plays 17 games, they do have a chance to win this division. Even better to win a wild card spot. Joe Burrow needs to be healthy, which he has had trouble with throughout his career.
By the way, Mark says DraftKings has a promo for Thursday night Henry or Kelsey to score an anytime touchdown for plus 100. We may or may not have something for new customers from DraftKings coming up on DTL Prime Time Live. Now, gentlemen, the one team we've kind of mentioned in passing, but they've got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And Mike Tomlin has never finished lower than 500. And it's blasphemous in Pittsburgh to suggest a different head coach until ownership is ready to put a new head coach in place. But Charles, if they are 9-8 again, and that narrative continues out there, but they don't make the playoffs, and they have Russell Wilson, who is now a captain, does Mike Tomlin officially really get on the hot seat?
I can't see Mike Tomlin getting on the hot seat. He's done too much for that team as well. So I don't buy into that narrative. I think he decides when he steps away. I could be wrong, but I definitely think that he's done enough at that team to, like I said, decide when he's. But I could be wrong. Look what happened with Belichick. But I think with Tomlin, it may be a little bit different. But I think he calls his own shot as to when he walks away.
Speaking of calling his own shot, Soupy, this man shows up a couple of months ago. And remember when he got to Denver, he was working out with the wide receivers privately, and he just never hit it off with management and with the coaches because he had his own office. He wanted his own people in the building, and they did not want that. I don't know what life is like in Pittsburgh, but they just made him a captain. What does that tell you?
That tells him that the team likes him. The team liked the future with him. Kenny Pickett was not a good quarterback. Russell Wilson, he's won a Super Bowl. He was one what should have been a run play away from winning a second one. He's a proven winner. I think in Denver, I think it also had a lot to do with Nathaniel Hackett. He was not a good head coach. The whole team had turmoil with him. And when Sean Payton came in, I think he wanted to establish his own self there. And I think that's why it was just a one and done with him and Payton together. I think it'll be a little different now with the Steelers. He is a veteran with some young players on that offense.
If Tony says, but they have 8 captains. I think actually they have 4, but he's one of 4. TJ Watt's another one as well. If I was to be playing our little game today, and the most important player in my mind, because more and more guys we've seen the last few years that if you don't have 2 quarterbacks in the NFL, you have none, because a lot of guys get hurt or they're going to run a special package. Justin Fields, in my mind, is the best backup quarterback in the entire league. I loved him in Chicago. I know he made mistakes, but he could run for 150 yards from the quarterback position. If they are strategic and they are smart and they have him at the ready, Pittsburgh's offense now could become not so predictable. And you've got a guy who could be a running back in the quarterback position. I don't know how creative they will be, but hopefully very creative. And then I think Pittsburgh could surprise some people if they utilize both guys at that quarterback position. All right, gentlemen, anything else? You're right, actually, Justin Fields always comes to fight, just like Reagan the movie. I'm sorry, we're not going to do Reagan the movie. All right, tomorrow, let me look at my notes. We've got the AFC South, and then on Thursday, we will have the AFC West. Do not forget, live Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and then live Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with the brand new named DTL Prime Time Live. And then Friday night, a special episode as they are going down to Brazil, the Packers and the Eagles, and we'll be live Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern as well. If you were not here at the top of the hour, shame on you. But we've got you covered every single pick, 10 seconds or less. It's time for the whip around. All right. This is something new that AB rolled out yesterday because it's getting very, very tough to pick a single player. So all of these numbers, you can get them at DraftKings, several different books. They're a combo. Who will go yard? The numbers are a little bit lower, but you get two names to pick from. Judge Soto, Ozuna Olsen, Nemo Alonso, Schwarber and Guerrero, and Ramirez and Bobby Witt. All of these teams play each other. I love this way to go about it, and it's a whole heck of a lot of fun. Charles, where are you headed?
Give me Judge and Soto, although I'm not too much of a fan of the number, but at plus 125, I'll take it. Also, Judge has had some success against Heaney. So for show purposes, Judge, Soto, plus 125.
I like it. Always follow my guy, too. He's always having a ton of information on his X page. Soupy, where are you headed, sir?
I'm going to help my own cause and go with Schwarber and Vlad Guerrero tonight.
You're all proud of yourself for giving me 5 seconds when there's only 3 people on the show. Thank you, Soupy. Thank you very much. I guess I will go. So I'm also going to go back to Kansas City. Jose Ramirez is a beast. Bobby Witt. It's hot in Kansas. Just talked to my folks last night. And also these guys are their best players. And right now, they're all battling. The Royals are getting cold at absolutely the wrong time. They got swept in Houston, and then they lose last night to the Guardians. But both of these guys always come ready to play. And at plus 275, give me Ramirez and Witt. All right, gentlemen, we can give a little bit more today in the whip around if you so choose. We're not going to split it up, however, Charles, in this section for those people that came in late as we approach the bottom of the hour. But let's go through every single pick one more time. What do you got, Charles?
We're going to South Beach first. We're going the Nationals and the Marlins. We have Patrick Corbin Day or Patty Corbin Day in a 6.52 ERA on the road, and Max Meyer with a 5.44 ERA. I think we can see one of those 4-4 games, and it locks us into the over 8.5. And then we go to the Metroplex for the Yankees and Rangers, the over 9, Rodon and Heaney on the mound. Yankees bats have been hot, and Rangers against AL East tend to see runs as well. So, yeah, the over 9 in that one.
All right, I like those two plays. I looked at both of them myself. Soupy, talk to me.
Tyler Phillips gives up a lot of runs, 5.50 ERA, but he gets a lot of support, 7.94 runs to be exact. And the Phillies are going against Chris Bassett, 6.23 ERA in his last 4. And then Chris Sale, if the Braves get an extended lead against the Rockies, I think he's only going to go 6 innings. So give me the under 18.5 outs.
I backed Soupy up with the Phillies and the Blue Jays. I think also there'll be a lot of runs in that game tonight. Then Twins, I'm buying into the motivation factor. They won last night 5-4. I think they do it on the road again. I like that even money price. And then the Mets, they're taking on a very good road team in the Red Sox, but the Mets have no room for error. They're a half game back of the Braves in the wild card race. They've got to win every single game moving forward. Minus 135, I will take it. A couple of things from the chat before we get out of Dodge. Coach making picks. Is this 2020? Oh, my man, Big Cheesy, right in my line of sight as the NFL starts. I see you, Big Cheesy. By the way, DG says, hey, Charles, I would like to stay on my toes today. Anything?
I was looking at maybe the Dodgers team total. I like that one as well. Yeah, I see the Dodgers team total over 5.5.
All right, Dodgers team total. They've been a really good offensive team as of late. Several people in the chat, Soupy, talking about either they just had or they have in the next couple of nights their fantasy football drafts. Most are done, but what would be your advice as we head into Thursday night, if they're done or even if they're not, to properly get ready to set your team for week number 1?
Definitely watch out for injury reports. Make sure you know what the depth is, especially when you're looking at players that you drafted lower. The top guys are going to be your top guys. They are going to be the best. But as you get lower in your draft, you got to find those sleepers, the ones that maybe get better as the season progresses. Those are the ones that are going to win you a championship.
All right, very, very good. By the way, Austin says we should start a DTL Content Creators Network for all the upcoming creators in the chat. Not a bad idea. The AB3 is helping you with that, Austin. I know you tuned in the other night. I watched every single minute. I am quite sure that AB would love to kind of start what we call a pulpit, because we've got an incredible crew. We've got 6 in addition to me and AB. But we are growing, guys, and in the next 24 to 48 hours, we hopefully will have an announcement for you. And I could not be more excited. What are you most looking forward to? Because I think both of you are on Thursday, correct? Thursday night?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
What are you most looking forward to, Charles, for that first primetime game, Ravens and the Chiefs?
I'm seeing how the Ravens are going to come out in this spot as well. I'm looking forward to this battle. I know you're on the Chiefs, but I think the Ravens potentially could give them a battle. So I'm anxious to see how the Ravens come out and attack this first game against the Chiefs.
I will be very honest with you. The Chiefs do not start the season well. They lost at home, I think, the last 2 years, if I'm being correct. I may be off on that one. But the way Mahomes and Kelsey Soupy travel around the country, and Kelsey went, I counted, to Vegas 5 times after the Super Bowl. And he went to Australia, Japan, Europe, all to chase the relationship. I'm all for it. But how does he work out? How is he possibly in shape for the start of this football season on Thursday night?
Maybe he's got a good plain workout plan like Russell Wilson used to have. Yeah, this is an important game because they're playing the Ravens, who they could match up with for the AFC Championship. You never know. And the Ravens are going to be hungry because they know that they have to beat the Chiefs. That is the team to beat in this conference in order to get to a Super Bowl. I think the Ravens are going to be hungry. They're going to play a great game on Thursday night.
Tony says, Coach, doubting Kansas City? No, Tony, I live in reality. And my reality is that they never start motivated. They never start with their hair on fire. That's just the way Andy Reid is. He's just not that style of a coach. I've got several friends that work within the organization, and they give me feedback on the energy of the locker room. And now with 2 straight Super Bowls, there's not a hunger at the start. They need to get hit in the mouth, and hopefully that wakes them up before Lamar Jackson has the Ravens up 14-0 on Thursday night. But it would not surprise me. Gentlemen, I need you guys to get ready for this week, because starting on Thursday, things are just going to take off like a rocket ship. So we are fired up for both of you. Well done today. Now, it's always an F day here at DTL, and the Howie Schwab Crew Play of the Day selections. Well, producer man just told me it is the Yankees and the Rangers over 9. You agree with Charles. A very close second was the Red Sox and the Mets over 8. So thank you all for voting. I'm told it was a 1% difference. 1%. So you guys like both overs tonight. Let's keep an eye on both of them. Let's do it together, because if we do it together, man, isn't it more fun? Great live audience today. Thank you all for that as well. Do not forget, that around 2 o'clock Eastern this afternoon, the latest episode of DTL, the podcast, will be out. A lot of different topics that we are tackling today. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't downloaded, I encourage you to try it out. It's more than just picks. We really dive in into topics and make you a smarter sports fan and a smarter sports bettor. All right, that's going to do it for today. Producer man, thank you for the one shot. I always appreciate that. It is now time for you to go out into the world. I love how you talk in the chat. I love how you guys are becoming friends together. That's what it's all about. And understand this. There is only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My attacker, Level. My man from the Dirty Charles. The man with the best beard in Soupy. Producer man, always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every day, even Tuesdays at DTL. Good luck.